What if you didn't have to inject a GLP-1 medication every single week forever? A growing number of patients and doctors are experimenting with something called strategic dosing, spacing GLP-1 injections to every other week after weight loss goals are reached. But does it actually work? And more importantly, is it safe, effective, and sustainable? Today, we're breaking down the science, the real-world data, and what experts are saying about this off-label approach. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. GLP-1 medications like Wegovy, Ozempic, Zepbound, and Mounjaro are incredibly effective, but they come with real challenges. They are expensive, and insurance coverage is inconsistent. Many patients are told they'll need to stay on them indefinitely. One of the most common concerns doctors hear is this: once I lose the weight, is there any way to scale back? That question is what led to interest in dose de-escalation, including every other week injections. Every other week GLP-1 dosing is an off-label strategy, meaning it is not FDA approved and not part of standard prescribing guidelines. It's generally used after a patient reaches a healthy weight, during a maintenance phase, not active weight loss, and only under medical supervision. GLP-1 medications are designed for once-weekly dosing to maintain stable therapeutic levels, so changing that schedule is a clinical judgment call, not a universal recommendation. GLP-1 medications like Semaglutide and Tirzepatide have a half-life of about 5 days. That means by day 7, the standard dosing interval, drug levels are already declining. So technically, weekly dosing already stretches the drug's pharmacokinetics. Extending injections to every other week lowers levels further, which can work for some people, but not everyone. This is why responses vary so widely between patients. At Obesity Week 2025, researchers presented a small but important study examining this exact question. The study reviewed medical records from 30 patients who had reached a normal weight or resolved weight-related conditions. They had been on weekly GLP-1 therapy for an average of 38 weeks and then switched to every other week dosing. Here's what happened. More than 3 out of 4 patients maintained their weight loss. Only 4 patients regained weight and returned to weekly dosing. Metabolic improvements, including blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure, stayed stable. Body composition remained largely unchanged with muscle mass preserved. And some patients even spaced injections beyond 2 weeks and still maintained results. Doctors involved in the research say these findings could be encouraging, especially for patients worried about long-term affordability or access. But there are important caveats. The study was small. It was a retrospective chart review, not a randomized trial. And participants were a very specific group, people who had exceptional success on GLP-1s. Experts stress this doesn't mean everyone can safely reduce dosing. According to clinicians, patients most likely to succeed with reduced dosing tend to have reached a stable and healthy weight. They have improved metabolic markers, they exercise regularly, and they maintain consistent nutrition habits. Patients who experienced rebound hunger, cravings, or rapid weight regain often need to return to weekly dosing. There is no single formula. Responses depend on metabolism, lifestyle, and overall health. Spacing GLP-1 doses without guidance can backfire. Potential risks include rebound hunger, loss of appetite control, weight regain, and loss of metabolic improvements. That's why every expert agrees any change in dose or frequency must be discussed with a healthcare provider. Right now, the average person in the United States stays on a GLP-1 medication for just over 1 year. For many, lifelong weekly treatment isn't realistic. If future studies confirm these findings, strategic de-escalation could offer longer treatment duration, lower costs, greater patient confidence, and more personalized care. But we're not there yet. So, can every other week GLP-1 dosing work? For some patients, under the right conditions with close medical supervision, yes, it absolutely can. But it is not a shortcut and it is not for everyone. If you're thinking about adjusting your GLP-1 regimen, the most important step is a conversation with your provider. What are your thoughts on dose de-escalation? Are you already doing this? Let me know in the comments. If you found today's video to be helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.